Welcome to Going Solo, Realities and Rewards of Consulting. We are your hosts, Halelly Azulay and Elaine Biech. And this is an exciting time. The beginning of a new year is always an exciting time. Lots of possibilities and opportunities and excitement in the air. And although it's been the most different new year that we've all ever had, given the year that we've come through, we still believe that 2021 is a year of great opportunities. Some of you might have joined us in past webinars or have been members of some of our courses in the past, and you know us and you know our content well, but we can tell you that today we certainly have some updates and stories and some really good opportunities to share with you a little later on, probably at about the 45-minute mark or so. So definitely stick around because we are excited to share everything with you. So just a little bit of an introduction. I'm Halelly Azulay, and Elaine will introduce herself in a moment. A little bit of background about myself. My business is Talent Grow, and I develop leaders that people want to follow. I started my business back in 2006, and it is a consulting company that focuses on mostly medium-sized companies that are experiencing explosive growth or expansion. And we do consulting as well as speaking workshops and team retreats and coaching. I am not focused on any particular industry or market because I feel like leadership is a skill that's necessary and applicable everywhere there are multiple layers of leadership, which is where I usually come in. And in my volunteer life, I have been extremely active as a volunteer leader for my professional association, the Association for Talent Development, where I was the president of the local chapter back when I used to live in the Washington, D.C. area. I'm now based in LA. And also a volunteer leader on multiple national committees. So that's actually how I got to know Elaine through my volunteer activities with ATD, and I'll pass it over to you, Elaine.
All right, thank you. Yes, and we've had a great relationship ever since our meeting at one of those first ATD sessions that I did, and Halelly was in the group that I was facilitating. Anyway, I started my business, which is Ebb Associates, back in the 1980s. So I've been around for a long time. I started my business partly because I didn't like being an employee. I thought the companies and the organizations I worked for wouldn't take as many risks as I wanted. They didn't move fast enough. I just saw so many more opportunities than they were willing to take. So I decided to just start my own business and do it that way. Like Halelly, I have been a volunteer for ATD. I worked my way through the chapters. My first chapter meeting, I walked in and I was automatically the new newsletter editor. And so I've done a lot of writing since that newsletter. I've published a number of books. I love to write. And I actually started out on a farm. So I think farmers have this natural entrepreneurial bent. And I think that's part of why I love being in business for myself. I have had the experience of growing my company to 23 employees. Found that I really didn't like it, and so I downsized. It took me a long time to downsize. Let me say that because I didn't want to just dump everybody. And so those people who wanted to start their own consulting businesses, we helped them start their consulting business. So it took me almost 3 years to downsize to just a couple of people, myself and a support person. So I love what I do, and I hope that comes through today. And hope that you'll be able to join us on some other learning opportunities in the future.
Right, and I should mention that, back when I met Elaine is when I was thinking about starting a business, and I was thinking about starting a business because I was really frustrated by the pattern I was seeing where in my job, I wasn't always able to stick with my integrity, and that's my number one value. And I really just wanted to create a world where I could do my best work and always make the right decision for me, never have to just compromise in any way on my integrity. So it was very fortuitous that I met Elaine and read her books, and she helped me get started. That was 15 years ago. We are going to encourage you to ask questions today, but we definitely will stop about halfway to address your questions. So we do encourage you to ask them there. Yeah, so let's talk about the learning objectives.
All right, so welcome to Realities and Rewards of Consulting. We're here to share what we've learned. We want to, as I've said before, we want to help you decide if continuing is right for you. We can't share all that we know, but we certainly can provide you with a few tips that we've learned along the way. We're going to share some of those mistakes that we want you to avoid. And between the two of us, we've made quite a few mistakes. We've been around long enough to have tried some things and they didn't really work. We're going to actually help you uncover some faulty thinking about consulting. I think there's lots of rumors and mistruths about consulting, and we'd like to share some of those to help uncover some of the misunderstandings. And then finally, and probably best of all, we'd like to spotlight the rewards of consulting, and especially that it's a satisfying and fulfilling career. It's why both of us have stayed in the business as long as we have. If any of you meet me on the street and or at a conference or anything and you want to talk to me, the first thing I'm probably going to say is, I love what I do. So
yes, me too. Okay, before we get started, we want to get a sense of who's here, because some people are already in the consulting business full time, whereas some people have started consulting, but they're just doing it as a side hustle. They're doing it on the side. A bunch of you might already have decided you're ready, but haven't pulled the trigger yet. And then there's probably a bunch that are on the fence. You're just not sure if you're ready, you're not sure if it's right for you. And while we're super curious to know who's here and where you're at, we also want you to know that whichever one of these 4 options is true about you, we've made sure that this webinar will help you move forward from wherever you are to where you're going. So it'll be applicable and will give you really helpful information regardless of where you stand. So I'm just watching as people are chiming in. We've got a bunch of the votes in. So let's take a look at where we've landed. And I'll share the results. So it looks like about a third, right? About a third.
It's an equal division, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a third are already in business, woohoo. We got a couple of side hustlers. About a quarter of you, or 1/5 of you are ready and you just need to start. And then we have about a third of you that are on the fence. And yeah, this is a great opportunity today for you to make some decisions. And, you know, I have to tell you that we've even had people that attended the webinar that we did in the past, a similar webinar, and said, you know what, you really helped me know this is not for me. And, you know, that's okay too. It's better to know than to be on the fence. On the fence is not where anything happens, right?
That's right. Exactly. All right. So just to get you started and get in the mood for the webinar, we'd like to ask you just a few questions. I'd like you to think about these and respond to yourself, either in your head or maybe you want to write down a note on a piece of paper. But tell me about whether these things are true or not true about you, or maybe are you somewhere in between? First one is, I can do anything I set my mind to. Is that true, not true, somewhere between? Second thing we'd like you to think about is, I thrive on a challenge. Is that true, not true, or somewhere in between? Consulting offers you lots of challenges. Third question, I have a higher energy level than most people. True, not true, somewhere in between? And then the fourth question, I can change my course of action if something is not working. True, not true, somewhere in between. That last question is real important because things happen. Look at 2020, right? Mm-hmm. We all had to change our course of action. All right, so these questions actually are part of a self-assessment that we've developed, and it gives you a picture of your readiness as an entrepreneur. The more truths you have, the better the chance you have of being a successful consultant. And when I say a successful consultant, I don't mean making millions of dollars. I'm talking about, are you happy doing it, and are you satisfying your clients, and are you making the money that you need to continue working? So most consultants are really good at what they do, but they forget that they need a really high degree of business acumen and entrepreneurial spirit. So you'll be able to get the entire entrepreneurial self-assessment at the end. We'll tell you all about it.
Yep, 28 item assessment. So we'll tell you how you can get your hands on that. Well, I've turned off my video, if you've noticed. And the reason is that from here forward, we want you to really focus on the content and remove distractions. So we want to dive in. Now, consulting is definitely more respected than it's ever been. Freelancing, being a contractor, a subcontractor, a consultant is now viewed as a win-win for both the companies and the professionals alike. And when we started our business back years ago, saying that you worked from a home office was a sign that you weren't really a successful consultant. Well, look at where the world is now. Not only are most successful people working from home because they don't really have an option, but even before COVID, many successful consultants were working from home, or you've all seen, the maybe cliche, but true world nomad, global nomad, working from their laptop in cafes and on remote beaches.
Starbucks, that's where we see it all the time,
That's
right?
Yeah. So it's possible now to start a business, to even be a solopreneur, and to be super respected. I want to cover a few of the background reasons why consulting is really more respected than ever. If you've heard the buzz about the gig economy, this term that's come up a lot lately, the idea is that more workers in the current and the future marketplace are shifting toward freelance work, flexible gigs instead of steady jobs. And a lot of what used to be jobs, full-time jobs in the past, now can be completed by a variety of contractors. And this is obviously going to bode well for us as independent consultants and consulting firms. There was a recent report that from FreshBooks where they showed that 27 million employees were expected to enter the self-employed workforce in this year, actually last year. Now, we'll talk more about what might have changed that in last year, since last year definitely became an anomaly. But it looked like 42% of those who wanted to be in control of their life were millennials. But we know that lots of people in lots of life stages are looking to take advantage of this gig economy that's here to stay. Also, this means that there's a lot of opportunities to create a very specialized niche or niche, that you can be in demand for specialized expertise and knowledge, things like diversity and inclusion. We're seeing that now a lot, or how to have successful remote workplace performance evaluations is something that's coming up as a specialization. So there's lots of ways in which we can add value in unique ways that never were as possible as they are now. Now, COVID-19 has definitely put a kink in a lot of people's plans in terms of how they either start a business or what they're doing in their business. I'm pretty sure the keyword last year was pivot. Right? Lots of us had to pivot. Yeah, I mean, certainly for me, I can tell you that come March, I had lots of live speaking engagements and conferences and live training workshops in corporations, and all of that just went gone. And of course, we've transitioned and pivoted into doing everything virtually as everyone else in the world. But we also know that even though we don't know if all of those 27 million people said they were going to start their own business did, we also see lots of people where COVID actually catalyzed the decision in them out of necessity, or just having the time to listen to their heart and to think about their dreams and to imagine a life that they would like. And lots of people are actually choosing to pivot into consulting. Advances in technology are another reason that the gig economy and this increased respect for consulting is here. That a lot of ways in which the technology now supports success for consultants, especially solopreneurs, to complete work remotely, to be able to communicate with clients from wherever at any time. It's really easy for us now with artificial intelligence or AI. Lots and lots of things that used to be done by humans are now being done by AI, which means that the jobs and the work that's left requires the kind of expertise that only humans with unique capabilities can provide. And so a lot of times companies don't necessarily need to have those people on their payroll full time, but they will supplement the needs that they have, that are things that are covered by AI, will be complemented and supplemented by consultants with specialized knowledge that the company doesn't have to have on their payroll, or to worry about the overhead, or to bring them up to speed or onboard them. They can just bring them in to do the work that they know how to do. And it's a win-win for everyone. Plus, there's all of these different professional apps and online marketplaces and marketing opportunities and business operations options that are readily available. So it's easier for us to do the work than it ever has been as consultants. And you don't need a whole crew of 23 people like Elaine had in her company to do the work and to satisfy the client needs. You can just do it by yourself or with a small team, and you can do the work from anywhere, anytime, as long as you are fulfilling the client's needs. So companies know this, and they are counting on independent solopreneurs more than ever too. The demand is ever changing. The world is changing very quickly. So many companies recognize that having employees full time to get things done is just not as agile. It's not as it's not a way to do things quickly and to fill needs quickly as they come up. And even large consulting firms are getting on this gig economy and getting on the bandwagon of not having to support as many on-staff consultants as they used to. For example, PwC, we know, launched a couple of years ago what they called Talent Exchange, which is an online platform that supports them finding the solopreneurs with relevant skills to work on various projects instead of having full-time consultants do that work. And yes, it's not only more respected than ever, but also it really can help you make exactly what you were making in your employee salary or more. In fact, there was a McKinsey report a couple of years ago on the gig economy, and they found that 75% of consultants are making more or the same as they did in their traditional role. So solopreneurs really can create a profitable 6+ figure income. And in a consulting economy, the industry is $250 billion strong, with over 700,000 consulting firms providing services across all facets of business globally, and has been growing at the rate of 4% a year in recent years. So yes, it can even work from a lucrative perspective. But you know, it's not all wine and roses and blue skies and sunshine. We've talked about why it's more respected than ever, but there definitely are some realities to be aware of. So Elaine is going to cover some of those.
Yes, indeed. Halelly talked about all the good stuff, and I'm going to talk about some of the realities. Thank you very much for doing that to me this time, Halelly. So there are some. They're listed on the screen that you have. And I'm going to be talking about those. There's financial realities. There's your own mindset and your mental shift, that transition that you're going to have to make. A third one is that the rumors that consulting allows you to leave all the problems that you might have as an employee. That's just not true. We'll talk a bit about that. And then thinking like a business owner. You really need a marketing mindset. And if you know about these realities ahead of time, you can plan for them. So let's look at each one of them so that you're not going to be surprised. Let's start with the financial one. So this one reality really takes new consultants by surprise. The first thing that's going to hit you is that you're going to have to determine what to charge. Income is important to all of us. We want to eat and sleep in a comfy bed. And as consultants, you are in control. And that's the good news. And it is likely that the first time you're asked to put a price on your head, you're going to say, okay, I don't know how much to charge. If you've never worked for yourself, or if you've never had your own business, the expenses can be surprising. And if you're internal and you hire consultants, you see them charging $1,000, $2,000 or more a day. So you must think, wow, consulting must be an easy way to get rich, right?
Mm.
Well, not really. So let's start with that reality. Most consultants set their fees too low. I can tell you that almost every consultant that I have coached along the way has had their fees set way too low, and that's the first thing that we did. There's lots of things that are going into it, but deciding your value generally isn't something that most new consultants get to discuss. You need to be prepared. You need to spend some time understanding what's involved, and just keep that in mind that when we've consulted on new consultants, we find that it's too low. So when I started out, I was super low. Let me start out. I was super busy, first of all, and I was so excited. I had so many clients coming and going. I was busy every day. And then what I realized is that this was just a simple supply and demand issue. And I was charging way too little so that the demand was way, way high. Well, I quickly found out the truth, and I moved further on to that. So the other part about the financial equation that is that you're not going to have a steady income. Consultants can have a real feast or famine from month to month. So you want to build a pipeline of clients to supply that steady income stream. And Halelly and I have experience doing that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been in business as long as we have. Cash flow is actually more important than profits. You can be profitable and still go out of business. I've seen that happen. So another reality is your own mindset and your mental shift. You're going to need to make a mental shift from a couple of perspectives. First, you need to adjust the emotional transition from employee to business owner. So as an entrepreneur, your needs to make a profit will be a priority. And this may be more difficult if you've come from a nonprofit or if you've come from a government sector. But you do need to make a profit, otherwise you're not going to be in business. So you need to structure your business model so that it's profitable. And that's the purpose of being in business. A second mind shift is that you need to control your mental thoughts and your thinking. This extends to thinking like an entrepreneurial business owner that you're going to be. You're going to be responsible for your retirement plan, your insurance, your taxes, your social security, just on and on. And you're going to have an office. Even if it's a home office, you'll still have utilities, your equipment, supplies, banking costs, accounting, and just lots of other expenses that I think we don't generally have to think about. But you also need to lower your expectations in this mind shift too. For example, if you've been a manager in a large organization, you may have had someone who did your scheduling, who printed off your copies of the materials you were going to be using or arranged your travel. But now you're going to have to answer your own phone, order your own supplies. And our favorite job, you're even going to have to empty your own wastebasket.
Woohoo!
Right? Yeah, woohoo. So one other mind shift that many consultants believe that they'll have lots of time on their hands. Well, that's because if you were a client, you only saw the consultants on the job and you didn't take into consideration all of the other things they had to do. You'll need to have time to market, time to do the administrative tasks, time to prepare, time to learn. The truth is the time is yours and you can spend it any way that you want, but you need to spend it wisely. You will be busy. Another one is you won't get to get away from all of those things that you dislike. I think some people go into business for themselves, go into consulting because they want to get away from the politics of the organization or the paperwork. Well, that's not going to happen. The politics at your job can keep you from being effective, but you still need to deal with the politics as an external consultant. So instead of having just the politics of one organization to deal with, you'll have the politics of 8 or 12 or 23 organizations, depending upon how many clients you have. So, or if it's a difficult boss that you're trying to leave behind, now you're going to have many bosses rather than just one. Of course, The advantage of consulting is that you're going to be able to fire that other boss and find a different one. That's okay. So yeah,
Yes.
Halelly, I have a hard time just sticking with the realities and the bad side. I have to say the good stuff too. All right. So, perhaps you dislike the paperwork at your present internal job. Well, you're still going to have paperwork. For example, you need to invoice your clients. If you don't, you're not going to get paid. I've known consultants who went out of business because they didn't invoice their clients. Or one very important part of paperwork is your quarterly tax report. You need to file your quarterly taxes, or the IRS is going to pay you a visit. So you won't get away from all of it. You need to have a marketing mindset. And I think that's something that we talk about a lot in our own personal conversations between Halelly and me, and also with other consultants. I've already mentioned marketing a couple of times, but you need to market every day, especially when you're too busy to market. I remember one time when I had this enormous contract with a client. It was a 6-month project. I was so excited to have it, and I wanted to show them that I could do a great job. It was early in my career, and I wanted to prove that they had hired the best woman for the job. So during that time, I stopped marketing. I was too busy. But what happened is when the contract ended, I had no work lined up. And so I had to double hustle for that. I think another part of the marketing mindset is that everyone that you meet is a potential client. No matter who you talk to or who you meet, they could either be a future client or they could connect you to a potential client. So marketing is an all-time job. Oh man, that's starting to sound like a bit of a downer, Halelly. Please, if you're on this call, please don't see them that way. They're just transitions. And if you know how to make those transitions, you'll be successful. Knowing how is key. Knowing what to expect is a part of your planning. So don't let these realities stand in your way. It's really not about the bad stuff. It's really about planning. And it's not all doom and gloom.
That's right. Awareness is the first step, and then you can make a plan to overcome these realities or plan them into your expectations. But the clouds have parted and the sun is shining, and there comes the rainbow of the rewards. And there are so many different rewards of being a consultant. We won't be able to name all of them, but we actually have a doozy of a list of things to cover with you today. In general, the rewards can be divided into 3 different categories: financial rewards, your freedom and independence, and your personal satisfaction. So I'd love to talk about each of these a little bit more. So notice that financial is appearing on both of our lists, both in terms of the realities and in terms of the rewards, right? Because while you can make a lot of money as a consultant, there are lots of financial responsibilities, but we have to say that the rewards are real. We shared some of the statistics with you where you're probably going to make as much or more as you did in your salary. And we also want to caution you. If your reason for starting a consulting business is to become rich or for the money, we're worried that you're not going to be able to sustain all of the other realities and to overcome the difficulties and to stay in business. It shouldn't be the main reason that you start a business. It certainly wasn't the main reason that we or other successful consultants we know have succeeded in their profession. You'd be amazed how many books and online courses, and I'm sure you get bombarded with ads every day in your inbox and on social media that tell you, hey, you can make a 6-figure income, a 7-figure income, an 8-figure income. Let me teach you how. But that whole like shiny money thing, it just isn't enough of a reason, and it's not the main motivator. What we think is a huge reward that you ought to think seriously about if you're thinking about starting your business, or if you want to stick to it, if you've already started, is the idea that freedom and independence are yours to have. We certainly both had a very strong desire for independence. You heard that in our stories. You don't have to stay in a 9-to-5 routine. You don't have to have a boss. You don't need to have a commute if those ever return. You can be your own boss and make your own decisions. And being your own boss feels really good. Running your own show, working where you want, when you want, how you want, with whom you want. Maybe there's a dog at your feet or a cat on your lap. And if you're an early bird, then you can start working at 5 a.m. Or if you're a late night owl, then you can work until 2 a.m. And as generally, if clients can reach you and you get the work done, you can set the pace and do what feels right for you. And you can choose your own success plan. So for example, I choose to sort of shut down my office at 4 p.m. every day and go to the gym. When I come back, I have dinner. And if there's still work that I need to get done, then I choose to do it after dinner, or I choose to sometimes do it on the weekends. When my boys were younger, which is when I started my business, I could choose to go to their special activities at school. Or I could choose to be there when they came home from school and do their after school activities and then work before and after that on my work. So it's really lovely to be able to choose who your clients are and what professional development you take and what your niche is and things that suit you, and whether you need to take care of an ailing family member or travel or just want to work part-time. All of these things are yours to choose. And then, of course, there's personal satisfaction. For me and Elaine both, there is a huge satisfaction in the sense of constantly learning and growing. We both, in order to stay in business, you must constantly learn and grow. You're never finished, but that's a great thing because you're always feeling that excitement of doing something new and sharpening your edge. For example, in the last couple of years, Elaine and I have learned how to create and market an online course and do social media campaigns and all of these things that neither one of us knew.
Scary,
Yeah.
but we learned it.
That's right. And we're still learning.
Yeah.
Making a difference. A lot of people talk about making a difference. Well, when you create your own business, then you can follow your own passion and life mission and make a difference and contribute to society. And whether that is changing entire sectors or entire organizations or contributing to your professional field, or even just helping one individual at a time and contributing to them and their growth or solving their problems. It is so satisfying to know that you're making a difference. And when you run your own business, you're not putting that in someone else's hands. And finally, another reward that I'll share with you here is the opportunity for self-expression. I wrote a book about strengths and leveraging your strengths. And I'm a strong believer that your job should allow you to use your strengths every day. But sometimes when you're in a job that's dictated by someone else, you don't get that opportunity. Well, when you run your own business, you get to use your strengths, tap into your passions, and use your skills every day to make a living. And that is an amazing experience. But we think that the best reason to launch your consulting business and to grow it is because you want to. You don't have to. Sometimes I think that our culture makes it seem like everyone ought to strive to have their own business. And let me tell you, it is not for everyone. It is not well suited for everyone. And it's no shame in knowing that it's not for you. But if it's been a calling, if it's been something that's been nagging at you, if you've constantly felt this pull towards it, then you need to give it a try. So that it's not just a dream, so that it's not just a what if. If you realize that it didn't work out, you can always pivot. You can always go back to having a job. You can always change what you're doing. But living and then dying with that regret of what if, that's something that you cannot ever get back. You can't change. And we believe that you should have a life of no regrets. In fact, one of our favorite quotes is by Michelangelo. Well, at least according to the internet, it is. The greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but that it is too low and we reach it. We believe that you should set your aim high and go for it.
All right. Thank you. But, the interesting thing is that when everyone starts their consulting business, there are dilemmas that are out there. And so what are the dilemmas that most consultants face? So after being in business for more than 50 years between the two of us and mentoring hundreds of new consultants plus observing hundreds more, we see a pattern of questions, and many of them are on your screen right now. So we'd like to pause right now and see what questions you might have. So at the bottom of your screen, if you would just type in any question that you'd like us to address right now, we'll take a couple of them. So while you're entering your question, I'll take one of the questions that we hear the most often. After being in business and assisting many consultants, we are oftentimes asked, who are my first clients and how do I define my marketing niche? So Halelly and I have an online course, and in it we share how to find those clients. The thing is that I'll give you some ideas though, that oftentimes it's a part of your current work. So if you're in business right now or you're an employee in an organization, you need to look around you and say, if I quit right now, would there be some projects here that my company would like me to continue on if I left to start my consulting business? That's what happened to me. I had applied for my boss's job. Interestingly, my boss's job required a PhD, and I didn't even have my bachelor's at that time. And they pulled me in and said, well, you know, we know you could probably do this job better than anybody else, but you know, we're going to lose our financing and our backing if we don't have someone in that position with a PhD. So they asked me to stick around for a year to train my new boss, to train 3 new trainers, even our department admin was leaving at the time, and they asked me if I would stick around to train that person. And so we did that. I did that. And they said, if you do that, we know you want to start a consulting business, and we'll have some projects for you. So I trusted them. I did that. And that's exactly how I got my start. It was a great way. So we encourage you to just look around, people you know, organizations you might know, who could connect you to your first job. And another way to get started is with a side hustle. So don't forget to consider that. I noticed that we only had a couple of people who were doing side hustles on our questionnaire, but it's a great way to get started. Halelly, do you have a question that you'd like to answer? Because I don't see any open questions in my list unless I'm missing something.
No, right now we don't have open questions, and we encourage you to use the Q&A tab to ask us anytime, and including now. Yeah, you know, so many of these questions come up also for me. I was worried. I was worried about what you described too. And when I first started my business, I was really worried about how would I compete with other people? How would I prove that I'm the best for the job? You know, how will I market myself in a way that differentiates me? Some of the things that have really helped a lot is learning, and I've learned from you the best there is, Elaine, that publishing is a great way to get yourself known, but also to differentiate yourself. Also, if you have other ways to do content marketing, it's something we talk about in our course. You know, content marketing is like blogging and podcasting. Those are fabulous ways to get not only more visibility, but also more credibility. People notice you, and you can show your expertise and share your expertise. And a lot of times, if someone is not sure if you've got what it takes, when you put a body of knowledge out there like that, it allows them to peer into your knowledge and to get a sense, almost like those free tastes at the Baskin Robbins before you buy. And that helps a lot. Well, I see a couple of questions have come in, so let's take a look and see what we have.
All right, let me grab one. Do you work with an accountant for your finances? And my answer to that is absolutely yes. You will want to put together your own business team, and that business team should include a banker, a lawyer, and accountant. And you need to do the accountant first. An accountant will help you with so many different things, making sure that your books are straight for your tax purposes, no matter what country you're in, just helping you set things up. Also, your accountant can be very, very good at recommending a lawyer, an attorney. And so I know that my accountant, I've been with my accountant for, 35 years now. Wow. She's fabulous. And for a long time, I lived in Wisconsin and she was here in Virginia. And it's been just a wonderful relationship. She has saved me so much money. So you'll want to but your accountant can lead you to a good attorney. And then because the two of them are used to working as a team, it'll just be very helpful to you. It's also important to find a good banker. You'll want to probably get a line of credit as soon as you can, maybe not the first day in business, but eventually you will. And you'll also want eventually to have someone to help you with your insurance. So you definitely want to put a good team together and start with that accountant. Absolutely, a great question.
Yep. Let's see, we have time for maybe one more question. So I see Grace Ann has asked how to come up with well, Grace Ann has many questions, it looks like, but we're going to answer that one first. How do you come up with a name for your business? And I really struggled with that when I first started too. And I have to tell you that I used Elaine's book, The Consultant's Quick Start Guide, as my Bible. It was tattered and dog-eared. And there was such good information in there and advice. What I did was I just thought about, what does my business stand for? How do I want to create the kind of image that I want? So for example, do you want to look like you're just a solo person with just your name, or do you want to have a name of a business that's sort of a third entity, not a personal name, and make it sound bigger maybe even at the beginning than it is, just to create the sense of comfort and confidence. And then I thought about, how do I convey that my business is that at the time I wasn't even yet focused on leadership development. I was really just talent development. And I started to just come up with a bunch of synonyms for that. And I made a huge list. I remember I was actually in New York for the weekend because my spouse was working in New York, and I came along because there was a hotel room, so why not? And I was sitting in a cafe and doing all this brainstorming. I had a huge list. And then I started looking for which domains were available, and that was a very depressing exercise because a lot of my best ideas were already taken. So that's how I kind of narrowed it down to what's within my list and conveys the right message and is available so I can buy the domain name that I want. That's one way. That's not the only way.
Yeah, and I think the other important part about your own name is be careful about using your name if you want to grow a business with other consultants, because otherwise people will really want to talk, really want to work only with you. I'm going to answer one other quick question up here that I think is an important one. Do you need liability insurance? The answer is yes. And again, you need to talk to your attorney. We are not attorneys or accountants. We can give you some guidelines. If you're going to be doing work with the federal government, they have an outline of a minimum that you should have. And yes, we both have liability insurance. Yes, this is critical. Yes, you should definitely have it. Do you want me to hit one more, Halelly?
Yeah, just quick, yeah.
Yeah, the question about LLC, what's the most common? It's not, it's not which is the most common.
Yes.
It's which is right for you.
Yes.
And that's why you need to talk to your attorney and your accountant. You want to not have it as a personal business. You need to separate your business from your personal life so that if you have any kind of a problem, you want to be covered. So an LLC will help you do that. However, I think LLCs are very easy to do, form yourself. You don't need an attorney to do that. You can go online. And you can also get incorporated. If you're planning on having income, or at least billing your clients, of over $200,000 a year, if you see yourself in the future doing that, you should jump right to a corporation. And it's not that hard. An attorney will actually have a template, and all you do is fill in your name of your company and you go for it. And then you just pay, I think maybe $100 or something, or I don't even remember what it is, because I have an accountant who does that for me.
That's right.
To renew that corporation papers work every year. But anyway, yes, you don't want to be liable yourself for your business.
Yeah.
So, yeah, lots of questions. Questions.
Yeah.
And we answer all of these in detail, and we give you guidelines, and we give you templates to use in the class that we teach, the 5-week class. So we work you through all of those things as you're thinking about moving into it. But here's the good news. We'd love for you to imagine what it could feel like. What could it feel like if you could build your profitable consulting business? if you could be doing the meaningful work that you desire, if you could be in charge of your own life, you're working with the clients that you want to work with, and finally, you're in control of how much income you'll make. Well, just imagine that. Wouldn't it feel great? Well, it's all possible. About 30 years ago, I had just started my consulting business, and I was attending a program to learn how to consult. So two of the speakers there were Ken Blanchard and Peter Block. And if you've been around the business at all, you probably know those two names. And so one of the activities was to imagine what you'll be doing in 5 years, and specifically imagine an ideal day. So I remember really, really clearly some of the words that I used to describe my ideal day. I said I'd be enjoying a leisurely cup of coffee, gourmet coffee probably, while sitting on a deck overlooking the ocean. I'd be reading the paper and I'd breathe in the ocean air. Then I'd go to my computer to work on the second book that I was writing. And then I'd be preparing for my visit with a client, some big client that had a big problem and I was helping them solve. Well, as I think back to that day, I realized that the rest of the group was probably saying, yeah, right, Elaine, in your dreams. Why? Well, because at the time I was living on a farm in Wisconsin. I hadn't published anything and I didn't even have my college degree yet. So yet just 5 years from that imagined exercise, I was consulting to companies that employed more people than the population of the small town next to my farm where I was living in Wisconsin. In fact, that client that I'm thinking about had 5 times the number of employees that was the population of that city.
Amazing.
Little town, yeah. I was writing my 3rd book, and I had opened a branch office in Norfolk in an old house that we had remodeled into an office. And you guessed it, it wasn't on the ocean, but the Chesapeake Bay. And when you're from Wisconsin, the Chesapeake Bay looks like the ocean. So I went on to purchase 5 more properties on the Atlantic Ocean and the Chesapeake Bay. So we just want you to know, yes, indeed, it is all possible.
And she's published 86 books, I think. I don't know, every day the number goes up, so it's hard to keep up.
Oh, well, not every day, but it is at 86. That's correct. So a plan for success. How about you? What could you do today? It is all possible. If you're serious about consulting or even just dabbling with the idea, here's a couple of ideas that you can take today. And then Halelly and I have the ability to share other ideas with you. This webinar really could be the start of all of it for you and your plan to success. So grab a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen, or type it into your into whatever electronic gizmo you have available. But the 4 things that you can do after this webinar is, first of all, think about where you want to be in 3 to 5 years, just like I did. Where do you want to be living? Who do you want to be working with? What kind of work do you want to be doing? And then on your screen, you see 3 more ideas. The first one is to write a stretch goal. Think out just 1 year. It could be something simple like you're exploring the options with potential clients. Second thing is to write a 90-day goal. Perhaps within 90 days, you've outlined a bare bones business plan to share with other people. Or maybe you're just making a list of 20 potential clients that you'd like to work with. And then the third one is to write the next action. And this is a big one. Why are you going to do this as a result of this webinar? I'd love for you to write your next action and even put it in the chat if you know what it's going to be right now. Now, think about it. Within 1 week, you'll have lunch with a consultant and interview them. Something really that's easy to do, but it forces you to take that very first step.
Yes, and it creates positive momentum.
Absolutely. You can create a vision for your consulting practice, and you can start right now. So even though 2020 took an unexpected turn for lots of us, it has also provided many unexpected opportunities. We can reflect on what happened, we can reevaluate where we are, reimagine our future, and reinvent where it is that you want to go. And the time for you to do it is right now. So you want to learn what it's going to take to start your own consulting business, or perhaps you already started your business and you want to be more effective. We can't cover very much in this webinar, but we have, as we've mentioned a couple of times, created an online course that we are really excited about. To make the course more pertinent, we've asked lots of people to tell us what they needed. And we've found lots of interest in marketing and setting rates. Well, that's not surprising. But if you want to learn what it takes to launch your successful consulting business and just keep it growing, we'd like to help. The online course that we've created is titled Building Your Successful Consulting Business. And it's designed for consultants that are just getting started, or again, as I've said, if you've been in business for a couple of years and you want some new ideas and you feel like you've maybe reached sort of a point where you need to make a shift, this course can help you do that too.
That's right. And it's a really amazing opportunity because what we've done is, today we talked about the realities and rewards, and we really want to share with you ways that you can leverage those rewards, that you can capitalize and capture more and more of those rewards, while also ensuring that the realities don't get in your way. They are there, but we can help you plan for how they don't trip you up. And we give tons of personal attention in this course. It is designed with weekly workouts. We call them weekly workouts, but they're kind of like group coaching calls or Q&A or office hours, whatever you like to call them, that will answer your specific questions. So really a lot of personal attention. So we've talked to our past graduates and got a lot of feedback and input from them. We implemented into this course. We've mentored and coached hundreds of others, and we conducted surveys. So we used all of that information to design a course that's super practical, that's very common sense, and is tailored to your needs. So we're excited to share it with you today, and we hope that you'll consider it. This content in this course is designed for you to help you know, are you ready to take the leap? Do you have what it takes to build your own consulting business? You can think about your consulting entrepreneurial aptitude, but you can expand it. And you can even learn how to find your first clients. Lots and lots of people that want to start a business have no idea how to start. And it sometimes takes them way longer than is necessary, but we can help with that. We also help you tap into the secrets of naming your business. We just talked a little bit about that to Grace Ann's question, but we get into, we have more time to cover it than in a 1 hour, 1.5 hour webinar. We help you know what to charge. We don't have one or two, but 3 different formulas that we teach you so that you can figure out how to charge enough, because what we find is most new consultants are charging way too little. And lots of the people we work with, one of our advice to them is to actually double their fees. So are you one of those people that's not charging enough? What will clients pay? How do you figure out what clients will pay? And how do you find a marketing niche? And how do you even decide how to say that word that will help you?
You're funny.
I'd like to sneak in the bad jokes whenever I can. This content is for you to help you figure out the business structure. Hey, we just talked about that. Should I do an LLC? Should I incorporate? What should I do? We talk about that. S Corp. How do you build the business team? Elaine discussed the attorney, the bookkeeper, the accountant, the insurance person. We help you figure out ways to create a marketing plan and get it started, and all of the different do's and don'ts for leveraging social media, which can be so overwhelming for so many people. We want to help you make those first sales calls successful. So we talk about what are some of the mistakes lots of people make, tons of marketing tricks that don't cost any money or don't cost a lot of money. We help you create your business plan. We help you transition if you're currently in a day job, to help you make that transition successful, and truly so much more. So here is one of our course graduates, Gabby Alvarez, and she has a couple of words to share about her experience. Let's listen to her.
Hi, my name is Gabby Alvarez. I'm out in San Diego, California, and my company is GS. Consulting, which stands for Growth, Strategy, and Learning, which are very dear to my heart and have been part of my life for many, many years. When I joined this class, I was in a point in my life where I wasn't sure whether consulting was the right thing for me. So when I got the invitation, I said, okay, this sounds exciting and interesting, so I'll join, and I did. And it is one of the best decisions I have done for my business. It gave me guidance. The content is very specific, yet very exciting to follow, and also very insightful. Halelly and Elaine are amazing. And one of the things that I liked the most in this class was the openness, the honesty, almost the vulnerability that everybody had, not only the facilitators, but the whole group. We shared our stories, we shared our fears, we shared our goals. We talked about what inspires us, but also where we are in the journey and what to expect in the future, and also how to learn from the past and from each other to make everybody's business more successful. So if you are not sure whether this is for you and you don't know whether consulting is for you, this is the best thing you can do. My thought after the class was, wow, I wish I had done this sooner or earlier, because then I wouldn't have spent almost 6 months of my life trying to decide whether consulting was good or not for me. But after the 5 weeks of learning and sharing, I can say that I now stand taller. I am more confident. I am really excited and happy, and I really think that consulting will be for me, or it is for me. And this particular class helped me decide and helped me really put some of the foundational pieces in place to be successful. So join it. It's exciting, it's fun, and you will get a lot more than you pay for it when you join. So good luck.
Thank you, Gabby.
Yeah, she's great. She was a great student. You've heard us say that it's a 5-week course, and we've divided it into 5 modules. We've used a building theme because we're talking about building your business to success. So these are the 5 modules. Let's take a look at each one in depth. The first one is drafting your plan. So we'll be answering questions like, why consulting? Is consulting one of your life goals? We'll actually help you wrestle with that. Is this a good direction? How do you know if you're ready to take the leap? We'll be giving you some ideas and thoughts about how to address that. How do you know if you're, why now is a good time? Not only how do you know if you're ready, but how do you know if this is the right time to do that? We'll be starting with the essentials, both your mental and your financial focus. Where are you right now, and where do you want to be? And then your entrepreneurial aptitude. Do you have what it takes? We've mentioned the self-assessment, and that self-assessment is divided into 7 different areas, and it will help you figure out which area you're the best at, which area you might need a little bit more shoring up. So that's module 1. Module 2 is your blueprint to launch. So how do you choose the best name? As we already had a question about that. And there's so many other aspects than the things that we shared with you. How do you define that marketing niche? What will you offer? You know, you have to figure out what clients you want to have, but you also have to understand what is it that they're going to pay you for. So we'll help you define your dream clients, and we'll also take your planning in this module to the next level. Module 3, establishing your freelance foundation. We're going to help you look at that best business structure. As I mentioned earlier, you do not want to be responsible for things that might go wrong. You want to protect your personal things. You want to protect your personal house. So how do you do that? Your best business structure will help you do that. Building your business team, I mentioned that. How much should you charge? There's 3 models here. We talk about every one of those in depth. We work you through the specific numbers so that you can figure out what it is. And a big part of what you should charge is knowing what your clients will pay. So we'll be sharing some of those insights as well. And then help you plan your pricing structure, because there's a lot more to it than just knowing, okay, I'm going to charge X number of dollars per day. But how do you organize a structure that is easy to share with your clients? So module 4, structuring your business development plan. Man, a business development plan is critical. I didn't have one when I started. I didn't even think about it, but it's important to have it so that you're not trying to be everything to everybody. The time to market is right now, and we'll talk some more about how to do that, how to land your first clients, how to get noticed with a web presence. We have a long section on that that's really valuable to you. Marketing, selling, business development introductions, how to generate the success you need with your marketing plan. And then this whole idea, the marketing is different today than it was when I started my business. So how do you market in the social media? And then how do you make sure that you stay on the cutting edge? You have to. You can't forget about your own development. So module 5 then is building out your year 1 plan. We really pull everything together right at this point. We share with you, it's about much more than money. We're going to help you make that transition as easy as possible. We'll be talking about how do you set up your office, setting up your office to be as efficient and as effective as you can be. And then dreaming big. It's like going back to that Michelangelo quote. Dream big. Think about the sky is the limit with consulting. And then helping you figure out what's that next move? What specifically are you going to do next? So that's what module 5 is all about. So do you need this content? Well, here's what one of our graduates, Rich Douglas, had to say.
Hi, folks. My name's Rich Douglas, and I'm here to talk about the Building Your Successful Consulting Business course by Elaine and Halelly. I highly recommend participating in this course. It's just an unbelievable value. The big idea behind it is to do the right things to architect your consulting practice initially so that you'll be successful and you'll be working in the areas that you really want to work in. So the approach is lots of information and some starter projects, after which you really do a lot of the work to build your practice. The method that they use is live sessions with homework and exercises. Now, this course is, for one, for beginners to get the basics and how to structure them in a way that lets you tackle the building of your consulting practice element by element. But advanced beginners, and I like to think I'm in that category, get some new ideas and are able to kind of fill in the gaps of the things maybe they didn't think of or things that they might be able to do better. And I'm positive seasoned practitioners could also benefit from this course by getting re-energized, getting new ideas, and contributing to people like me and the other participants who could really use your expertise. One hot tip, if you do this, if you go ahead and enroll in the course, do it early and take advantage of the bonuses that they offer. They're a fantastic value. It's incredible. The bottom line here is you get great expertise from Elaine and Halelly, and it's worth the value for the price that you pay. Fantastic content, and I think you'll get terrific results as well.
I love that. That's so nice. When you work hard, it's very rewarding when people experience it as valuable. So we appreciate those kind words, and we're really proud that we've achieved them. Here's a few more kind words from people that have gone through the course and what they said. So Sheena Work said, I've gathered the confidence to set an end date for my current employer and begin my new adventure as a training consultant. So she kind of made that big decision to go for it. Very excited about what's in store for my business. Because of your course, I feel more confident that I am making the right decision for myself and my family. And fast forward, I'll tell you that we've heard from Sheena. She like gangbusters. Yep. She just set up that business and is successful. I think within 8 months, she was matching her previous salary. It was so impressive, and I'm happy for her. Catherine said, you can get advice on starting a business anywhere, but this program is by talent development consultants for talent development consultants, which will tell you it's not just for talent development consultants, it's for any consultants. But both Elaine and I do come from the talent development field. Elaine and Halelly are among the most successful in our field. I've been in business for a while, but this course truly helped me check myself on the basics and re-energize my consulting practice. Great practical advice without sugarcoating. Yes, because sugar is bad for you. Bill Treasurer. I don't know if you know Bill Treasurer, but he's kind of like one of those superstars in his own right. But he came to our course. He chose to join and he loved it. And he said that even if you've been considering starting, you definitely should sign up. He's been a consultant for over 25 years and still learned a lot. You have the best and most experienced consulting training duo on earth. in Elaine and Halelly. A little bit
Yay!
of, yeah, I don't know if that's hyperbole, but I'll take it. Kathy Street said, if you're considering or are in the beginning stages of developing your consulting business, this course will be the best investment you can make. I found myself breathing a sigh of relief and thinking, this is exactly what I need. Thank you, Kathy. We love you. So, are you feeling overwhelmed by all of the decisions that you have to make? Or maybe you don't know what to charge and it's making you crazy? Or how do you find your first client? It seems really hard to know. And so many other questions. That's exactly the kind of people we've helped. And that's why we would like to help you with this course, because we designed it so that less people feel this way.
So many of you probably know Bev Kay, and we're excited to have shared our course with her and asked her advice. And her words are, if only I was offered a course like this when I was building my business. Thank you very much, Bev. So what can you expect? We've been talking about the course. Let's just do a quick rundown. There's 5 weekly trainings that are there. We video them and audio, so you can replay them afterwards, and you can have them as long as you like. There's 5 live weekly workouts to answer your questions, and you'll have access to those recordings as well. We've provided downloadable workbooks. The downloadable workbooks, there's one for each of the modules. There's an exclusive proprietary tools that we're going to be sharing. There's lots of resources that both of us use that we've found to be practical. You'll get action plans with each module. So all of this to help you get started, or perhaps in some of your cases, if you've already started your own consulting practice, to perhaps restart it. And here's another graduate. Let's hear what Sherry has to say.
Hi, this is Cheryl Lamborghini, and I just wanted to share with you my experience with Elaine and Halally's 5-week course on starting your own consulting business. I just retired from a Fortune 100 company after 22 and a half years in the area of leadership development. That I really appreciated both Elaine and Halally's professionalism. They know their stuff. They are experts in their field, and it was really nice to have 2 experts who understand the training consulting business to share their insights and experiences with us. They also were great listeners. They provided encouragement along the way, and they were always there to provide guidance and assistance to us during the 5 weeks. My biggest takeaway from the course was being able to define my market niche. And now that I have defined my market niche, I feel much better prepared to go out and continue launching my business. I feel like I now, as a result of having a market niche, a compass, so to speak, as to how to move forward and follow my North Star. So enjoy the course with Elaine and Halelly. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Some of you might know this guy. He's been around for a while, super successful, Michael Bunkei-Stanier, author of The Advice Trap and The Coaching Habit. And he said, 2 of the smartest women in the business draw on their experience and years of success practicing what they preach. Thank you, Michael. We appreciate you. So earlier you heard Rich mention bonuses. What bonuses? Yes, we do have some bonuses because you are who we want in this course. And we know many of you, some of you we've heard from, and we've conducted surveys. We've spoke with lots of different people just like you in our design. And we've revised the course based on feedback from previous program participants. And we think that we have an unbelievable value in the course just as it is. But we really want to get the ball rolling, and we want to share a few extra goodies with you just to help you decide to do this, because we believe this is such a good decision. So if you are among, and there are 6 bonuses that I want to tell you about. If you're among the first 25 who register, then you will be the owner of Elaine's best-selling book I mentioned earlier, The Consultant's Quick Start Guide. Yes, like the physical book, autographed by Elaine, arriving in the mail. And so, of course, once you register, and if you're one of the first 25, we'll contact you for your address. It has 250 pages to guide your planning, all of the details for a startup. It has become the go-to book for many new and aspiring consultants, and it was definitely my Bible. When I launched my company 15 years ago, there's the second edition. It's been revised, and we will ship it to you, no extra charge. We're really excited to share that resource with you.
So if you also register this weekend, you'll also receive a video of 15 tips from superstars and luminaries that are a part of our profession. You see some names there: Jim Kouzes, Diana Boer, Jim Kirkpatrick, Bev Kay, and some others. In fact, if you look at your screen right now, here are the superstar experts. So you're going to be hearing from Jim Smith and Becky Pike-Pluth. These people have over 400 years of consulting experience and we've compiled their best tips in one video. Their tips are going to help you get started for sure.
And if you decide to register during this webinar, before we finish the live webinar, then you also can have a free one-on-one coaching call with one of us. So this is one of the things that Rich actually took advantage of, and we really enjoyed coaching him. You get our undivided attention. You benefit from our experience. It's tailored just to you and whatever problems or decisions you're working through. And this is something that obviously is not available to everyone in the course because we just don't have the kind of time. Most of the people that we coach pay us for our coaching. But if you register during the webinar, then you can actually get a one-on-one coaching call with one of us included in your price. If you're watching the replay, sorry, it's no longer going to apply. And that's why we encourage people to join us live so that you can take advantage of this bonus. This particular bonus expires at the end of this webinar. But all the other bonuses, the video tips are until tomorrow night, and there's more bonuses.
There's more? Oh, what else? All right, so we've defined the readiness to go solo self-assessment. We mentioned that a couple of times. And, it's just going to help you answer that question. Am I really ready to do this? Can I really start my own consulting business? What are my strengths? What do I need to learn? It's going to be a tool that will help you focus on what areas you still need to work out. There are 7 categories, as I mentioned earlier, and we'll include it at no additional cost for those of you who jump on this opportunity to join this group. You'll also receive a Marketing Your Consulting Services Before You Open for Business ebook. Now that's a mouthful, I know, but marketing is probably one of the most confusing parts of owning a business. And now you can start those efforts even before you take the leap. This ebook is going to show you how to reach opportunities for your products and services. It's going to provide you with a list of things that you can do to get a jump start on marketing, even before you leave your day job. You can start it, and to develop a startup marketing plan and to learn to determine your market niche. It's got a step-by-step guide and a template that's going to walk you through all the details. Plus, it shares 10 things that Halelly and I feel you must do to be successful at marketing. And finally, one more bonus, your annual business planning template. You know how important planning is for your business, and without a plan, you'll be wandering from project to project and not really achieving your goals. I can tell you that I've done that. That's how I started out, just wandering around. Fortunately, I was successful, but I could have been so much more efficient. This template is going to make planning just really easy. And the interesting part about it is you'll be able to use it year after year. It helps you review the prior year, what happened last year, and to remember all of the nuances of planning for each new year so that you're not going to forget any of those details. Phew. Oh.
But wait, there's more. Now I feel like a cheesy TV infomercial host.
You do so well.
I've always wanted to say that. Okay. We do also have a VIP Facebook community. This is a private community that you only get to join once you become a member of our course. And that is where previous cohort members are as well. So it's such a great place that you can get answers to your questions, you can share your progress, you can give and get support, accountability, you can pop in just to get inspired. And being a part of a community of like-minded people learning and growing together in a similar industry or on a similar path. They've learned the same information as you have with our course. So being a part of a community is a huge value, because a lot of times you don't really have a lot of other people that you can talk to who are on the same level or know what you're talking about, or that you even feel comfortable or confidentially comfortable discussing and sharing things with them. So this is a huge bonus because it allows you access to this kind of a community. And it is a community that is only open to peers who are in our course.
So here's another important aspect of this, and that is we guarantee your results, 110%. If you put in the time, if you do the work, and you implement the ideas that we suggest, we are sure you will succeed. But if you don't reach the results that you're looking for, we'll help you identify your obstacles and the barriers. We'll create an action plan to get you back on the right path with you. We're not going to do it for you, but we'll do it with you. And then if you've implemented our suggestions and you're still not successful, we'll give you 110% of your money back. All we do is we ask that you give it 6 months and that you follow the suggestions that we have. If you're not successful, we'll refund your money plus 10% for your trouble. So some of you may also know Ann Herman. Again, we shared our idea with Ann, and she's as excited as we are. She says, Elaine and Halelly bring years of hands-on experience that will help you prioritize your precious time and resources and give you practical tools that you can use immediately. So we've tried to think of everything, and with our former graduates' help, we've also covered more things that are necessary for you to have a smooth start. But truly, if you want results, if you want to help map your path to success, to launch your successful consulting business, I think that we've thought about as many things as we can.
So let's do a recap of all of the different things you get if you register for the course. So first, you get 5 live weekly online training modules and their recordings. So you can either join us live and then listen or watch the recording, or if you can't join live, then you just watch or listen on your own time. And you don't have to be with us live, but it's a great value because many other courses only have recordings. We also have live weekly workouts. Like I said earlier, this is kind of like group coaching or Q&A sessions or open office hours. We are there. We give you our time. We listen to your questions and we respond. And we record those. So again, even if you can't attend live, or even if you want to review it later, the recordings are always available to you. There's over 200 pages of workbooks. These are not just like fill in the blank, bunch of blank lines on a page. These are very, very meaty, content-rich workbooks.
Yep.
Elaine and I are giving away the whole shop in those books, and those are yours to keep forever. We also get access to proprietary tools and resources that people that are not in this course do not receive. And every module encourages you to make an action plan so that you can start implementing what you're learning and seeing the results. And of course, there's all the bonuses that we've mentioned. Plus, if you register by tomorrow night, then you get the video tips from the 14 superstars. That's about an hour of an unbelievable resource of all of these other people who have been successful or famous in their field, giving you a tip. And if you register during this webinar, you also will get that one-on-one coaching with one of us. That ends when this webinar ends. I know you wanted to know how much is it, and now you know. It is only $997 for all of these things. When you think about how long it takes to figure it out on your own, when you think about how expensive mistakes can be, and when you think about how quickly you can recoup this, in other words, if you follow our advice and you build a successful business, in a very short amount of time, you will get the kind of clients that will help pay off this investment super, super quickly. So where do you register? Here is the site. It's bit.ly, bit.ly/consulting biz course. And I've tinkered with this, and it seems like the capitalization is important here. Maybe I'm wrong. So do write consulting biz course with those initial caps there. That will definitely make sure that you reach the right place. This is our way of helping you. We created this course because so many people sought out mentoring and coaching from us, and there's only so many people we can talk to every week, week in and week out. So we created this course so that we can help more people. And if you know people that might benefit from this course, we would love for you to also help us spread the word, so that we can reach more people and help as many people realize their vision as possible. And of course, the video tips expire tomorrow, the bonus and the coaching bonus expires tomorrow. A lot of people have questions, rightfully so. You don't know if this is right for you yet. Maybe you've decided. I hope you've decided that this is right, because we think it's an unbelievable value. But if you have a question, we would love to answer it. So use the Q&A tab to ask us any question that you would like to ask, and we'll try to address as many of those questions. I'll start with an answer to one question that we have gotten before. Frequently asked question is, what about, for how long do I have access? So you will have access for the lifetime of the course. So every time we begin a new cohort, and we've been running, we are running it about twice a year now, but that could change, we don't know. But whenever we do open it up, you can join every new cohort for the rest of the time that we have this course. And also you can access all of the materials and all of the recordings anytime without being part of a cohort. All of that is yours once you have registered.
For free after. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
That's right.
You do not pay anything extra, right?
That's right. And when does it start is another question that some people might want to know. When we're starting official, so enrollment ends on January 23rd, which is in 2 weeks from today. And then we start the course that Monday, January 25th. Again, that's when we start with the live sessions, and we go for 5 weeks until February 25th, but you can go at your own pace. You start later, you can do it in a different kind of cadence. You don't have to start with us and go with us each week, but that's how we'll be releasing the materials module by module for 5 weeks. So let's see, we have a couple of questions. What day of the week and time? Yeah, so again, the live sessions are every Monday. We have the live training session, and that's 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, and it's an hour. Mm-hmm. Or you can watch the recording or listen to the recording later if you can't do it that time. And then Thursdays is when we have the weekly workout, which is at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And again, those are also recorded. If you for some reason can't attend live, then you get to see the recording.
And not only are they recorded, but you can look at them for the rest of, well, probably at least 6 months, or you can see somebody else's because everything is available to you.
Yeah, well, you can keep the ones you were in. You keep those forever. You just download them. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right.
Elaine, do you want to take the next question? Do you have to be an expert in the field?
If you're thinking in the field, I'm not sure what you mean by that field. We make the assumption that everyone is an expert in something, and that if you're an expert, you can provide some, and by expert, I'm saying that you know information that other people might not know. And so we're here to help you create a business that you can get that information out. So I'm not sure exactly how to define expert, because the meaning of words are in people, not in dictionaries. And so I think if everybody knows something, that would make everyone an expert about something. So whether it's grooming. We recently helped someone with starting a consulting firm about how to help others who are grooming animals. That was an interesting one. So, yeah. So everybody's an expert in something. All right.
Yeah. Kevin, I just put the website into the chat. That should be able to take you right where you want to go, but it is bit.ly/consulting biz course. And it's in the bottom of every slide that we've been showing, actually. So thank you for asking. Oh, and Kevin is saying go through Chrome, couldn't get in on Edge. Sometimes web browsers might prevent a course short. This is a short URL for a very weird and awkward numbers and letters gobbledygook URL. So hopefully that's not a barrier, but contact us if you're having a difficult time getting in, then we'll work with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me just end with one other question that we oftentimes get, and that is, what if I'm unhappy with the course? What can I do? We want to remind you, 110% money back guarantee. We are so sure that you'll be successful. In fact, one of our recent graduates, we just answered one of her questions, and she ended up getting 7 times the cost of the course back.
Yeah,
more than what
incredible.
she was planning on getting, just because of the proposal that she wrote. We helped her write her proposal differently because she was charging way too little, and she presented it and she was nervous about presenting it at that high of an amount. And the client jumped at it and said, yes, when do we start? So that was great.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah.
All right, if you're still on the fence, if you're not sure, one other thing that sometimes is a barrier for some people is the payment. If that payment is too big for you all at once, we also have created a 2-payment plan. So you can do 2 monthly payments of $525, or you can do 1 payment of $997. And you get the 5 weekly live online training modules, which start on January 25th here, coming up in a couple of weeks. Elaine, you want to tell them about the rest? I think I'm stepping on your
no, that's fine. This is really good. I think that's the highlight of this. I think that you can see all of these. We don't have to repeat every one of these bonuses, but they are so good. So just remember, the one-on-one coaching bonus ends when this webinar ends, and that's going to begin just a few minutes. So if you're interested in receiving that one-on-one coaching with either one of us, your choice, we want you to sign up before the end of this course. All right. And all of the other things that you can see there. Yay. All right.
Yeah. And Kevin, let me know if your challenge was resolved that you typed into the Q&A. Thank you so much for your help with that. And I just want to make sure that that was okay. So give us some kind of a thumbs up. Yeah. Oh, yay. Kevin signed up. I love it. Quick action. Take advantage of an amazing value. Good. We look forward to seeing you.
Congratulations, Kevin. All right. So many of you probably know Patty and Jack Phillips, and they say that we highly recommend you embrace this program and learn everything you can from these 2 very successful training consultants. You know, Jack's research shows that many consultants fail partly due to the fact that they don't plan, but we will not let you fail.
That's right. That's our goal, is your success. We want you to be successful. So we hope that you will also be successful in capturing the extra bonus and act fast. The coaching bonus will only be available for the next few minutes, but the video tips will be available until the end of this weekend. And you do get all of the other bonuses, of course, that we mentioned, regardless if you sign up for this course with us. So I see we have a question. Do we offer this program several times during the year? Well, we are not really 100% sure when the next time we offer it. We are currently on a cadence of every 6 months or so, but we decide on a kind of what's happening in our lives and in the world, and we make a decision each time anew.
Right, that's right. Which is a part of why we're in consulting, right? Because we have control of our lives. All right. So what does success look like for you? Remember, we asked you that question. So we hope you're going to take time to imagine what success is going to look like for you. Just remember my story from 30 years ago. If you haven't already, imagine what success looks like for you. What's a successful day for you? Successful consulting is exhilarating, to say the least. And we want you to have a successful consulting business too. All right. So our graduates, here are some of our graduates that said the instructors and the robust materials, they delivered the material in a digestible, engaging format. Another favorite was having a pair of guides through the initial planning and thinking process of setting up and launching the business. This person said, you made it seem so very manageable. Another favorite part was the sense of optimism along with realistic grounding. Halelly and I are both optimists. We believe that you can do anything you set your mind to do as long as you put the right plan in place. And then one other person said, I was surprised at how much there is to learn. I was really glad that I signed up, and it's definitely worth the time and effort to attend. I think that the cost is fair considering the materials, access, and instruction. Well done. Thank you very, very much. All right. So here's another video from one of our former students, Debbie.
Hello, my name is Deborah McKinney. I live and work in South America and recently finished the course called Building Your Successful Consulting Business with Elaine Biech and Halelly Azulay. Although as a corporate training executive for many years, I had done quite a bit of independent consulting in addition to my work role. In my new activity as an independent professional, I feel that the course brought me many useful and important things. I complemented my knowledge in many areas. I received many specific and important pointers, and perhaps more importantly than anything else, I had the opportunity to share with other professionals in a similar situation and also to indulge in some serious reflection about my goals, my skills, and what I have to offer. The information was excellent, up to date. The tools were excellent, and I'm very thankful for having had this opportunity. Thank you very much, Elaine and Halelly, and I heartily recommend this course to any person who might be interested in starting their own consulting business.
Thank you, Debbie.
Yeah, thank you, Debbie. All right. So one-on-one coaching session gives you the tailored support you need, but this is only going to be for those who registered during this live webinar. So keep in mind all of these bonuses that are here. That particular bonus, the consulting, is going to disappear in a few minutes. So don't delay, register right now. If you're a consultant who's just getting started or been in the business, this is for you.
Yeah. So you can register. It's $997, which is less than what most consultants make when they have one day consulting gig. So if you think about 5 weeks of all of this information to get your business started and successful, and you can recuperate it in such a small amount of time, instead of having to go and figure it all out by yourself, cobbling together all the information or making mistakes that you could avoid. So our registration will be closing on the 23rd, so we can get ready for the live first session on the 25th on Monday. And there is the 2 payment option. And of course, you have to make sure that you act quickly to take advantage of the expiring bonuses, the one that expires at the end of this call, which is a one-on-one coaching call with one of us. And the video tips from 14 consulting superstars will only be available to people who register before tomorrow night. After that, it will no longer be given. And of course, if you're one of the first 25 people to enroll, you also will get a copy of Elaine's unbelievably useful book, A Consultant's Quick Start Guide, in the mail, what am I trying to say? Autographed. It's authored by Elaine, but it's autographed by Elaine as well, and that will be coming to you. Okay, let's see. I have one more question, so let's let's address that. So we did in May, we offered something that was a one-time quarantine quick start hustle. And we said that we probably will never be offered again. And we threw it together because we felt that there was something we needed to do to help people who were during that difficult time of being stuck in quarantine. And it was 2 days, but it was a very different format. And we covered some of the information that we cover here, but in a very different way. And we did not cover everything that can be covered in 5 weeks.
Yep. There were no bonuses. There was no long workbook. There was no business planning sort tool that we used. I mean, there was just none of those things. It was just it was a nice overview, and it helped people get started. But I don't think that it was. It was worth the money. I think we did it over 2 days. It was a real hard hitting kind of thing. People were on, and then they had to go and do an assignment for an hour, and then we'd be back on for an hour.
Yeah.
So, but we just didn't have the ability to cover as much, nor were we able to provide the kind of support to answer questions. It wasn't personalized, I would say.
No, and here you also have the lifetime access, which you did not with those materials. And we have actually a few people who found it to be a very nice compliment, like a few people who went through the 2-day course and then signed up for the 5-week course and loved it. So I think it's a nice 1-2 punch. If you've been through the 2-day course, this is almost like the natural next step.
Yep. I would agree with that. Yeah. So here we are. You can make this year a year, right, Halelly?
That's right. It's a new year. It's exciting, right? At the beginning of a year, we always think about what can we dream up and how can we achieve it? And that's why we're timing it this way, because we think that we can be part of making this the year you finally start your business, or making this the year that your business finally takes off.
That's right. Remember, one-on-one coaching session expires in just about 2 minutes. So make sure that you sign up before then. And all of the other great bonuses, some of them are the video tips from the 14 Consulting Superstars. That's going to expire on Sunday, tomorrow. Tomorrow, midnight. All right. Yes, indeed. Yeah. All right. We look forward to seeing you. We're excited.
Yes, very, very excited. And of course, if you have questions, let us know what your questions are. Grace, and the great question, do we get the coaching before the course starts? No, because just scheduling, scheduling that in the next 2 weeks while we're doing all of this, the marketing for the course is going to be very difficult. What ends up happening is people usually schedule it either during the 5 weeks of the course or immediately thereafter. It's a nice way to kind of think about making your plan for the next, once you've got, because you don't know what information you might want to ask us that you might get in the course. So it allows you sort of to save up that coaching call for what you, other questions.
Yep, absolutely.
That's what most people have found to do.
Yeah, great questions for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Any other last minute questions before we close down the webinar? And what we're going to do is we're going to send a recording to you and everyone else who registered. But of course, the recording will no longer include the coaching bonus, but it will include the other bonuses as per the timing we discussed.
All righty.
Yeah. Yay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Be sure to register, and we hope to see you in the course. Yay.
That's right. We're excited. We really would love to see you, and Happy New Year. Either way.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Elaine. Well, I'll talk to you later.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.